Hey everybody, I'm Solange from Stable Riding. I'm here at Big D's for the after hour shopping event with my two lovely equisizers, Winston and Rex, who are named after beloved dead school horses. They were both standard breds. When you're good at my house, when you die, you get an equisizer. When you're bad at my house and you die, you don't get nothing. I have a pony named Floyd, and every day I'm like, you're not getting an equisizer. Thank you very much, Floyd. So I'm going to be here today. I'm going to give everybody a stability check. So everybody who's here has a chance to get on one of the equisizers, English or Western. You can show me how you normally ride. I'll give you a little stability check, and then I'll adjust your position in your stirrups, and I'll give you some tips. But before then, I'm going to give you like a little 5-minute background on what I do, and then we'll move right into the stability checks. Does that sound good to everybody? Okay. I have been teaching riders for 26 years. And I specialize in what I call real world riders. So not a lot of show and competition riders. I teach mostly fox hunters, trail riders, long distance riders, and endurance riders. And a big part of who I teach now are the Mongol Derby and the Gaucho Derby riders. So the Mongol Derby riders go to Mongolia once a year in Mongolia. 50 riders from around the globe fly there, and they ride 30 semi-feral indigenous herder ponies 1,000 kilometers over 10 days. And then the sister race, the Gaucho Derby's in Patagonia, and I believe it's a little bit shorter, and they don't ride as many horses, but the terrain is a lot more aggressive, and the weather's a little bit more difficult. So the Gaucho Derby's almost more of the survivalist race, and the Mongol Derby seems to be more of like the horses are the hard part. So to date, I've taught, I think, 12 or 13 Mongol Derby riders and 3 Gaucho Derby riders. I'll have 2 Derby riders in this race this year in 26, and I have 1 Derby rider who's already signed up for 27. So what teaching all these real world riders have shown me is that there's a way that you can put your body based with your skeleton in relation to your saddle that will provide you with stability with science and physics. So the bad news for all of us horse people who love horses, because we love horses and not math, is that riding's just math. It's a very complex physics equation, right? So my particular brand of genius is that I see riders instantly in lines and angles, and those lines and angles tell me immediately if that rider is stable, and then I have the ability to futuristically predict out if they're going to remain stable under different environments, different gaits, different circumstances. So someone from the audience want to be my demo rider? I'm looking at you, Kathy. Pull your pants up. Got to do the pants dance. All right, we're going to put Kathy on this Western saddle. And I'm just going to run through a stability check with her so you guys know what to expect. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust your stirrups to the length where you normally put them. Okay. Maya, somewhere in my giant bag is a goniometer. You might have to dig around a little bit. Everyone, this is my lovely assistant, Maya, if you need anything. So I'm going to put Kathy's stirrups right where she would normally have them because I want to see her in her normal base riding position, like how she would naturally drape under normal circumstances. Would you go longer? Mm-mm. You'd like that there? Mm-hmm. Yeah, calm down. Calm down, Winsty baby. This one's still a little short, huh? Let me go down another hole. Thanks. Okay. Sit how you normally would. So I adjust everybody's stirrups in their saddle of preference to their normal length because, again, I want to see their normal drape position. And then I'm going to ask you to look straight ahead, take a big deep breath in, big deep breath out, and relax fully and pretend like you're going to walk from here to those show coats and dismount. And see, there's a little bit of artifice for instruction. So everybody knows this is coming. So sometimes riders like race against me, but that's fake because the horse doesn't tell you. The horse doesn't go, check your 6, I'm going to spook at a squirrel in 6 steps, right? The horse doesn't tell you it's coming. So I'm trying to catch you unawares the way the horse would catch you, right? So I'm going to put one finger on her shoulder, one finger on her foot, and I'm going to apply a little bit of pressure. And I was able to move her a little bit, but not terrible because this isn't our first rodeo. We've done this together once before, right?
Yep.
So I'm going to make a couple tweaks to her skeletal position that's going to allow her to be a little bit more stable. And this is what I bring the mirrors for in the stick so that the riders can see themselves as I make these adjustments. So when I look at you in the side mirror, your lower leg is really pretty close to being on the vertical line to the ground. Your heel's down, your toes out, but I'm going to have you put this just a wee bit, yes, just right about there. And now you can see that it's going knee, leg bone, heel. So often riders are instructed to be in like shoulder, hip, heel alignment or ear, shoulder, hip, heel. Has anyone heard ear, shoulder, hip, heel, right? So that is a very high level show position that's specifically really designed for very, very high level dressage. And it is a position that trainers go in to show the judge, look how good I'm riding, look how good my horse is trained. I can just sit here. I don't even have to try. Look how amazing my horse is. Look how well I'm riding. Kind of like how, does anyone remember in like the late 90s, early 2000s, the jumpers would jump and they'd lay their cheek on the horse's mane when they would jump? Do you remember that? Because they're like, oh, judge, look how easy this horse is to jump. So there's some riding positions that are performative. They're showing the judge, look how good my horse is. Look what a good rider I am. And they're intentionally not stable because they think if you're riding defensively, well, what's wrong with that horse, right? So if you're being schooled in a position that's designed to look a certain way, that's specifically unstable, you're in what I call a show position, which is kind of like owning like a fancy dress and like big high heels, right? You look really good in it, and it's great in pictures, but like you don't want to clean stalls in it. So most riders are trapped in their show position because traditional riding instruction doesn't teach real world riding. It doesn't teach a stability position. So a stability position is not shoulder hip heel alignment. A stability position is the opposite. Because what we clean our house in and hike a trail in and clean our stalls in is not what we wear to like a fancy ball, right? It's two different outfits. So her femurs are rotated out at that 45-degree angle, which is putting her toes out. She's got her heels down. You can push more on the big toe part of your foot than the pinky toe part of your foot. That's really important if you're having knee pain, ankle pain, foot numbness, foot pain, any sort of discomfort. It's almost always because when you're told to turn your toe straight and pull your lower leg back, it makes you pronate on the outside edge of your foot and it breaks your ankle. And then that's where you get that pain and numbness and discomfort. So pushing down that big toe part of your foot makes a huge difference, especially for my riders who are in the saddle a long time. You're trail riding, right? You're fox hunting, you're endurance riding. So toes out, heels down, and then we're gonna lift our ribs up. Yes. And then we're going to lean backwards from our waist a little bit more until you feel your two seat bones. Do you feel how your two seat bones plugged in the saddle? Like you're plugging like a plug into a wall? Mm-hmm. Most of the women I meet are riding on their vagina, right? Everybody's leaning a little bit too far forward. And some of that instruction, especially in the dressage instruction, is to sit on the tripod created by your two seat bones and your pubic bone. It's just, you're just smashing that thing on the saddle. Nobody wants that. So when you lift your rib cage up and you lean back from your waist, now your two seat bones are going in the saddle, and now your skeletal seat bones are holding up the mass and weight of your upper body, because really your skeletal system is supposed to hold you up. Your muscular system moves your skeleton, but your skeleton should be bearing all the weight. And when your skeleton holds you up and bears all your weight, it's really easy. Now it's not tiring, right? Because you watch some riders ride and it looks like they're just sitting on their couch. It's so easy. And then some riders are like, I'm exhausted. I've gone 4 laps and I'm so tired. That's because they're overusing their muscular system and they're not accessing their skeletal system. So now with these ribs lifted and these shoulders back ever so slightly, and these femurs rotated out and our toes out and our heels down and our lower leg bones on the vertical line of the ground, now when I do that stability check again, feel the difference? Mm-hmm. And I did not move her a lot because she was already really close to the position she wanted to be in. You were only off maybe a half an inch. It wasn't a lot. But it was just enough that if she was in that position, her horse was to spook or spin or any of the horse things that horses do, she has a higher chance of falling forward. And the cutoff for falling off is 25. Are you, Kathy, over 25?
By a couple years.
Just a little bit, just a smidge. Because if you fall off under 25, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, like you roll over the next morning to get your Starbucks and you're like, oh, my butt hurts. And that's like it, right? But you start falling off over 25, it's the heating pad, it's the muscle relaxers, it's the chiropractor, it's now you know it's going to rain for the next 6 months because like your shoulder hurts, right? It's just 25 is the cutoff for falling off. So I tell little kids, fall off all the time. Fall off 3 days a week. You're 15, I don't care, close the gate, catch your pony, get back on. But once you hit 25, you got to pull the plug on that.
There we go.
So this is how we keep ourselves from falling off the front, which is the most common way that horses fall off. No one's ever leaned so far back that they've like rolled butt over tea kettle off their horse's hind end. Like that doesn't happen. People don't fall off the back of their horse. People only fall off the front.
Unless a tree peels you.
Right. Another way that riders tend to fall is the sideways motion, right? So they're falling forward and sideways because centrifugal force, when your horse spins around very quickly, it'll whip you off your horse like a salad spinner. Like that goes really fast. So how we use our tack to keep us on if our horse was to spin is we widen our base of support. So you take your feet that are in the stirrups like this, and then you push them down and out in front of you wide, kind of like a piece of pizza. Shout out to Alex who invented piece of pizza. So now you're going to widen these feet out really wide because now I can shove Kathy and I'll knock the equicizer over before I knock her off. Because by widening her base of support, now what's happened is she's accessed her stirrups for that lateral stability. So if her horse moves sideways, she'll go and her foot will catch her. Because who's ever ridden a horse that's like, what was that? What was that? What was that? What was that? Like back and forth down the trail, right? Sometimes people know they have like a, what was that horse? So they're like, oh no, my horse is going to do that thing. And then they panic grip. And then they narrow their base of support and grip around their horse. And that is the worst thing because now you've narrowed your support, right? You want to have a wide base of support like an A-frame, not a narrow base of support. That's why the pyramids have stayed up for all this time. And the Leaning Tower of Pisa doesn't look too hot, right? Because he's got a narrow base of support. Does this all make sense? I'm going to move the equicizer for you. So now we're going to demonstrate how the equicizer moves. So keeping those ribs up and leaning back from her waist, I'm going to push this like it's cantering. Good. Lean back for me. Lean back more. Lean back more. Good. Now on the count of 3, I'm going to let go, and you're going to make this motion happen with your own seat bones. Are you ready? Yep. 1, 2, 3. Good. Bigger hips. Don't hold out on me, Kathy. Yeah, really good.
Ride him, cowgirl.
So the great thing about this position that makes you more stable is we've opened up Kathy's hip angle. You can keep cantering for as long as you want. If you get tired, you can stop. So your hip angle is from your chest to your thighs. So when I look at a rider from the side, when they do this, they're closing their hip angle. And when they do this, they're opening their hip angle. And because I only have a little bit of time with each of you today, we're only going to talk about deep seat positions. Sitting, walk, sitting, trot, sitting, canter. If you have questions about light seat, like standing, posting, galloping, jumping, we'll have to do that. You'll have to like email me, right? But in this deep seat position, sitting your walk, sitting your trot, sitting your canter, feet in your stirrups, feet out of your stirrups, bareback, English Western, doesn't matter. When you're in this deep seat, you've opened up your hip angle because you've lifted your ribs up and you've leaned backwards from your waist, which opens up your hip angle from the top branch. And then you've put your heel down, which drops your knee down, which opens up your hip angle from the bottom branch. And then when you allow your femurs to rotate out at that natural 45-degree angle, you've opened up your hip angle from side to side. And it reminds me of those old school fortune tellers. Remember how in school we used to make those fortune tellers? Right? They used to call them cootie catchers.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing. I want to give this space as much room as possible so the motion of the horse's hind end can come up and she can move her pelvis with her horse. So that's basically my stability check. We put you on, we see if we can tip you off. If I can, we readjust things, and then I show you how to move your hips. Is everybody ready to try a stability check? What do we think? Yes? Yeah?
Very good.
Thank you so much.
One of the questions I would ask is,
Yes.
so if you're ever where your stirrups are just a tad short or
Right.
a tad long,
Right.
you should go the tad long.
If you're, so deep seat, light seat. So if you're riding primarily deep seat, you're sitting your butt down, you're not posting, you're not standing, right? You're like, I'm riding my friend's overweight halflinger in a trucker tail saddle, right? You can go a little long. That would be like a 140-degree knee angle. If you're like, my horse is a little bouncy, I got to post, then you might want to go up to 130-degree. But so often in Western fenders, the holes are punched really far apart. And this is where that standard shorten your stirrup a hole is terrible instruction. Because I don't know if these people have seen saddles, but some English stirrups are punched 1/2 inch apart, and then some Western saddles are punched 2 inches apart, and that hole means a lot of different things. So if you have a big gap in your stirrup, you might need an in-between hole. But that's where the goniometer comes in, because you can measure your knee angle and find the exact angle that your knee needs to be at, because then if you change horses, the horses are different width.
Right.
And it gets really complicated really fast. Because just measuring to your ankle bone or your arm will not get you where you need to be. Did that help answer your question?
It did. Thank you.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. We are going to start our stability checks. Can I have one Western rider and one English rider come up?
So I have a question. So
Okay.
I ride, and it's a DP saddle,
Okay.
and it's more of a dressage one. but
Yes.
I have Western fenders on it, so I don't get my jeans all nasty.
If you have like an in-between, like a hybrid saddle, if you have like a trail saddle or an endurance saddle that's a hybrid, I would pick the saddle that has the stirrups that match your stirrups. So if you have a Western type fender and stirrup, then I would pick a Western saddle.
Okay.
Because ultimately the type of stirrup and fender you're riding with has a bigger impact on your position than the seat of the saddle.
So would you then recommend that maybe I adjust and put more of a English stirrup on my saddle?
No.
Or?
I would just tell you that if you're gonna, between the two, come and ride on this one, because this one has the stirrups that are closest to the saddle you're normally riding in.
Okay.
So I would put you on this Western one. Well, the good news is you can always come to my lab and bring your saddle.
Where is your lab?
I am in Hinckley, Ohio. I'm 30 minutes from here. Yeah, everybody who sees me today should leave with 2 of my cards. They're over here on the stool. Yep, I'm exactly 30 minutes from here. I have 5 equisizers in my lab, a home horse, a mighty bucky, mirrors, sticks, swings. I have one of these guys lifted up to 15 too, so I can practice mounting, because I have a lot of riders who have requested specifically mounting lessons. I taught 60 hours of one-on-one mounting lessons last year to different riders for different reasons, and they have...
Go up to 16 too.
It does. It sure does. He's 15.2 at the lowest, so I can raise him up.
Okay.
So I've actually created a mounting system that I'm going to start teaching formally, because there's been such a need for mounting lessons. Isn't that interesting? All right, so you can come up and get on a Western one. Can I have an English rider over here on this English one? Come on, everybody. You got to come on up. Don't be shy. I don't bite. Go ahead and hop up on here. And then Maya, can you adjust her stirrups to the length she prefers? Okay, are we ready? I'm going to make these. Are these a little short for you?
I don't know.
Would you normally, where would you normally put them?
That's pretty close.
That's pretty close to where you
Yeah.
normally have them? Okay, so I'm going to ask you to sit on the equisizer the way you usually do. Just in your normal drape, walking along position. Okay, look straight ahead. Take a big deep breath in, take a big deep breath out, relax, 1, 2, 3. So do you see how easily I was able to just
Yeah.
place you forward? And I'm not like, this is where I tell everybody, I don't have like big muscles. I'm not like Arnold Schwarzenegger. I have like pale, frail little Victorian boy wrists, right? The reason that I was able to tip you forward so simplistically is in your current lower leg position, your lower leg bones are behind the vertical line to the ground. And what that means is when I look at a rider and I assess them for stability, regardless of breed, discipline, or activity, if they're choosing to ride with stirrups, right, their lower leg bones need to be on the vertical line to the ground. But 99% of the time, their lower leg bones are behind the vertical line to the ground, because shoulder, hip, heel alignment instruction dictates that you pull your leg back, right? And if you're like, well, then why are we telling you this? I can go down that rabbit hole if I have time. So what is happening right now is gravity's pulling your stirrup straight, and you're setting your foot in the stirrup on the ball of your foot passively. And because your foot has depth, it's pushing your lower leg bones behind that vertical line to the ground, right? So in order to put your lower leg bones on the vertical line of the ground, you'd put your heels down. Well, that's not news, right? I bet there's a mug or a hat or a piece of, or some socks up in this store that say heels down. You can buy heels down merch. Well, the reason that heels down became a thing that we said so much is it was a quick thing that we could yell at you while you're riding that wasn't, can you just place your foot in front of you, toe out, heel down, so that your lower leg bones can go on the vertical line of the ground? Is not something I can yell at you as you trot past me. But I can yell heels down, right? So that's kind of where that started. So when I put your heels down, do you see how now your lower leg bones go on the vertical line to the ground? My Western riders with their jean seams, it always really helps, because now you can see leg bone, leg bone, leg bone, heel, as opposed to here we have knee, air, air, foot. When this happens, the upward force of the stirrup is going into your body like a jack-in-the-box spring, and it's encouraging you to pinch grip with your thigh and your knee, which is also when you're trying to have your inwardly rotated toe for your dressage position, you rotate your femur in, right? So that makes you pinch with your knee, which means now your lower leg can swing wildly behind you at any moment, which then tips your shoulder forward. Boop. And this is physics. I know this because the last time I was here, do you know what I got? A physicist.
Oh, very cool.
I was here 2 years ago, and I'm in the shower washing my hair before I came here. And I'm in the shower, and I'm like, oh my God, where am I going to find a physicist? Because I'd emailed one, and they're like, I'm too busy. And I was like, because you can't just go to Walmart and get a physicist. You know what I mean? So I was like, I'm just going to start emailing universities. I'm just going to be like, do you have a physics department? I need a physicist. I'll pay you cash. I'll pay you cookies. I'll pay you booze. I just need somebody. So I'm doing this, and there was a lady like on the outskirts, and at the very end, she was one of the last stability checks that came. She came over, she got on the English style, I'm doing my thing. I'm like, well, it's just lines and angles, it's just math. And she goes, that makes a lot of sense to me, because I'm a physicist. And I was like, get out. I was like, get out. And she goes, well, actually, I'm an astrophysicist. And I'm like, that's even more physicist than I need. I still teach her to this day. Her name is Kathy, and she draws me force diagrams, which are like the mathematical proof that my position's stable, because people are like, well, I don't believe you. And they're like, what's the math? And I go, well, I dropped out of school at 15 and started breaking horses to ride. I don't know. I didn't get that class, but she did. So right now, the upward force of the stirrup is traveling into you, as opposed to the upward force of the stirrup going in front of you. Right, and then also you can't move your hips, blah, blah, blah. But currently, your stirrups are too short. So this is a goniometer, okay? And I didn't know it was a goniometer, so when I bought, because I used to break horses to ride, so I knew that this was a physical therapy tool, because I'm a lady who's been to a lot of physical therapy. So I typed into Amazon, physical therapy angle measuring tool. And they're like, one of these? And I'm like, yeah, they're like $7. You can have it tomorrow. And I went, great. Now I have like 50 of them. I hand them out like candy. So I learned at Equine Affair from a retired nurse. It's called a goniometer. If you line these branches up with your knee, you can measure the angle. And right now you're at 115.
Okay.
And if you are you posting on your horse or are you sitting?
Not if I don't have to.
So you're a deep seat rider.
If I can avoid
so
it,
you're
no.
like not picking your butt up.
Yeah, I'd rather not.
So she should be at 140 and you're at 115.
Okay.
So your stirrups are like
Way too short.
way too short. This is the one piece of my instruction that I have not publicly put on my like Facebook and social media feeds because I feel like it's the one thing you could really easily steal because it's a $7 tool and 2 numbers, you know. I don't normally worry about my IP because I'm like, you could just memorize everything I say and still not really teach like me. But this is, yep. But this is one of those ones you could easily lift. So I haven't been, if you're like, I haven't heard that yet, it's because I haven't put it on Facebook yet. But, you know, here's the thing. How tall are you?
5'7".
So you've got, Pony Jesus gave you beautiful legs, right? Beautiful, incredible, long legs that are designed for riding a horse. And when you scrunch them up under you, so here's the thing about long-legged girlies, right? When you have really long legs and you displace your feet in front of you, that means you have a huge amount of leverage pushing you back into the saddle. But if you put those really long legs behind you, you have a huge amount of leverage flinging you
Throwing you
out.
forward,
So
yeah.
with great power
Okay.
comes great responsibility. Right? So now that your stirrups are long enough, now you can actually get your lower leg bones on the vertical line of the ground. Do you feel that? Lift your ribs up. Lean back from your waist onto your 2 seat bones, femurs open. You don't grip on your horse this way. You track your horse with this part of your femur. Have you been
Where
pinch
were
gripping?
you
with
like 30 years ago? When
That's literally what everyone tells me.
Oh,
I
bad, right?
Everyone's like,
now
ugh.
I have to unlearn.
Yeah, so we're going to rotate these femurs open, turn those toes out. And you know why it's okay that you turn your toes out?
The fact that sorry, I'm like, wow.
Wow. This is the big one because people are like, I've been told for 20 years to turn my toes straight. Yeah, yeah. But when you go to the gynecologist or the obstetrician and they pull the stirrups out of the table, they're called stirrups, and you put your feet in them, which way do your toes turn, ladies? Because all the doctors who went to doctor school know how the human pelvis works, and all the girls who stand in riding arenas with their boat shoes and their tall boot socks and their puffy vests and their iced coffee and go, turn your toes straight. They did not go to doctor school. Right? So you're allowed to turn your toes out.
I mean,
this
I
is
just felt my calves come in and
right.
hang on. It's
You
like,
have beautiful, long, gorgeous horseback riding legs. Why are you not using them? It's a crime.
nobody taught me how.
I'm interviewing 2 ladies for my podcast tomorrow. It's a short lady episode. They're both 5 feet tall. I can't stand next to them. I look like Fiona, Shrek's wife. They would kill to have these legs. These legs are as long as they are tall. Use them. So now, ribs up, lean back, toes out, heels down. Ready? Do you feel the difference?
Not going anywhere.
Isn't that so much nicer than falling on your face?
Yeah.
When I turned 30, I decided I didn't want to hit my face on the ground anymore.
Or the back of my head.
I'm too old for that. My
Or the
face
broken
has to stop hitting the
ankle.
ground.
Yeah.
Hey, Kat, how are you? I'm like, no more my face hitting the ground. So, does this feel better?
That feels way
Now I'm
better.
going to put you here. I'm going to move the back of the equicizer, and you're going to sit like you're cantering. Are you ready? Look how much range of motion you have. Keep leaning back. Lean this bra strap part of your back. Okay, on the count of 3, I'm going to let go, and you're going to do this yourself. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Big hips, big hips. Don't hold out on me. That's a pretty big canter. Now,
This is Levi's canter.
now put yourself back in the position you're in before. Pull your legs
I
back.
don't think so.
Okay. Well, I guess that was a good one.
I want to unlearn this.
You were a good first one to start with. So does that all make sense?
It does. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to use. I feel like I'm. You
feel like you're
Well, do you 2 ride together?
We have.
So can you guys be each other's accountability buddies?
Okay.
You have to feel your seat bones the whole time. Stop riding on your vagina. She's a very important lady.
Question though.
Yes.
I've been having trouble with like pressure on my tailbone.
Uh-huh.
Will that? I'm like, but I'm not feeling it now. But I haven't been in the saddle for an hour.
Right.
So.
I would like to see a picture of you from the side on your horse in your saddle like this.
Okay.
But my guess is the pressure from your tailbone was because your stirrups were too short and it was pushing you off the back of your saddle, like a clothespin.
Yeah, right up on the.
Uh-huh. Yeah, because you should be able to fit in an English saddle like 4 fingers behind. Every time a saddle is made, there's like a little dip. It's like a little bowl. And you're supposed to sit in the deepest part of that dip, and long femur, long-legged riders will often misadjust their stirrups, and then they get pushed out onto the back, like the top part of the bull, and that's why it's hurting your butt.
All right.
My guess, like I'd bet like $100 I'm right, but I'd have to see like a picture.
Maybe a free session.
Or you could just, or you could just come to my lab with your saddle, and then we put it on the equicizer, we do a deep dive.
Okay.
Now is a good time to do it because it's the beginning of trail season. You know what I mean? Okay. Can I have another Western rider to stage on that while I work with this English rider? Do we have another Western rider in the house? Yes? My new knee lady? I have a mounting block just in case he's... See, I'm a lady who knows. Are these where you normally put your strips? Do you like them where they are here?
Feels okay, I guess.
Do you want to tell me a little bit about your riding?
Well, I do dressage,
Okay.
but I also have the Western,
Yeah.
2 different horses.
Right.
But I've mostly done dressage.
Yeah. Dressage is very inwardly rotated femur, right? Very femur inwardly rotated, and that causes riders to pronate on the outside edge of their foot. So oftentimes when your foot's in the stirrup like this, and I look with my eyeballs, the outside edge of your boot's touching, and there's a little, like I could slip of paper under the big toe part of your foot. Do you know what I mean? Do you ever have any like discomfort or pain or numbness down your legs?
No,
Okay.
no, but I had a knee replacement on this side, and this side needs to have it done, so
Right.
I don't.
Usually once I have a rider that's had a replacement, so she's had one knee replacement and you're coming up on the second one.
Well, I'm not going to do it if I don't have to.
Right, avoid it. Yeah. So I have my regular riders, and then I have what I call my Fabergé egg riders. And my Fabergé egg riders are my riders I really don't want to drop, right? So let's say I'm teaching like some 16-year-old girl, and she goes, "Boss lady, can I jump my horse bareback?" And I go, "Are you going to cry if you fall off?" And they go, "No." And I go, "Close the gate." And then they jump their horse bareback. And if they fall off, I don't even get up. I'm just sitting on my chair. I don't even get up. I'm like, "Catch your pony and get back on." But then I have other ladies who I really don't want them to fall off. Those are my Fabergé egg riders. Those are the riders I really don't want to drop. And a lot of times it'll be a rider over a certain age. The lady's like, "I'm 78. I'm like, well, maybe not falling off, right? The lady I met who'd been hit by the semi-truck, I don't want her to fall off, right? If you've already had a knee or a joint replacement, if you've had any kind of surgery, any kind of horse injury, and realistically, if you're over like 55, I'm putting you closer to the Fabergé egg. So when I have a Fabergé egg rider, what that means is I'm a little bit more conservative with my tack recommendation, my activity recommendation, and my position recommendation, because now everything I tell you is going to be based on what's going to keep you safe and stable, as opposed to what the judge might want to see or what this bougie trainer might want, because I'm like, I don't really care about that. I really care about this lady not falling off, right? So with this knee being like a little troublesome, I really want to make sure you don't fall off, and I really want to make sure you don't fall off on this knee. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So I want you to go ahead and look straight ahead, take a big deep breath in, a big deep breath out, relax, 1, 2, 3. So I wasn't able to push your upper body forward too much, which is usually true with my deep seat riders. My Western dressage riders are used to sitting down and back, so I usually can't move their upper body very much. My hunt seat girls, just wham. My hunt seat girls, because they're always like, you know what I mean? So they're really easy to tip forward. But oftentimes I can pull Western dressage riders' lower leg back really easily because they tend to ride like the dangly legs, where they're usually not accessing their stirrups. They tend to ride long, their toes are pointed in, right? So in this position, if you look in the mirror, if I was to draw that line through your knee, it's going knee, air, air, foot. And I would like it to see it go knee, leg bone, heel, right? So that instead of your stirrup being on the vertical line to the ground, your leg's on the vertical line to the ground, because now you're accessing your stirrups as a tool for frontal support so you don't fall off the front of your horse, right? And you might be like, well, I ride very high level dressage and I'm not allowed to do this. I will get kicked out of the dressage club if I put my foot in front of me, right? Which is like, that's okay, I get it. So like you're like, I'm dressaging very fancily. So you pull your lower leg back. But then you leave the show arena and now you have to walk through like the warm-up arena, and those things are like a war zone, right? There's like horses and people are lunging and women are crying. It's like prom, everybody's crying with their shoes off. You know what I mean? And you're like, okay, I got to walk my horse past some things in the environment. I want to make sure that if my horse was to be infected by the environment, I don't fall off. Then that's a time where I would just go, and I would just put my feet in front of me, just a little extra. Okay. And the great thing about displacing your foot in front of you is it also takes your lower leg bones off, Because sometimes when like the environment gets like a little heated and riders are like, ooh, this is going to be a problem, they tend to scrunch, which not only keeps you from accessing your stirrups, but also puts your leg perilously close to the gas pedal. Because now you're like, hey horse, you know that scary emu we got to walk past when you spook at it? Can you do it really fast? Because that'd be better, right? So not only do you not want to fall off, you also don't want to like punch it, right? So if you're in an environment where you're like, I feel like I'm a little less stable than I'd like to be in my own body, or I'm concerned that something crazy might happen in my environment, you can just set that foot in front of you a little bit. And then if you want to be really serious, you just turn that toe out and put your heel down and widen your feet down and out in front of you like a piece of pizza, which if you think about it is how the reiners stop. You know how when the reiners guy run down, they stop and they go like this? It's because that's so they don't fall off the front of their horse. You know who that happened to? William Shatner. He bought a reining horse and he didn't do the thing with his feet and he fell off and he broke his shoulder. And I was like, I should have emailed him. And then like, look, Captain Kirk, you're 90, don't fall off your reining horse, right? So if you displace those feet down and out in front of you, and then you just lean back a little bit more than you think, which is almost, if you look in the mirror, you've made yourself kind of like a diagonal line on your horse's back. Now when I give you that stability check again, do you feel the difference? Now I can't push you forward as much, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So if you're going along and your horse is like, what was that? You're not going to go, whoop,
Okay.
right? Because I don't want you to fall off. And you too also have amazingly long legs for your height. You know, your hip and your shoulder are here, and you've got these huge, long, wonderful legs. So if you can displace your legs in front of you, that's a huge amount of leverage pushing you back in the saddle. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be an all the time thing. You're allowed to have a really beautiful show position, but you're also allowed to have a really realistic riding position that'll keep you on if you think like something's going to happen.
Okay.
Does that all make
Does
sense?
that work for when they go this way and this way?
Yes. So that lateral thing, if you have a horse who's like, what was that? What you're going to do is you're going to take those feet that are out in front of you and you're going to widen them out from left to right because stirrups are just swings. Stirrups are two individual like maniacal trapeze swings that go like this, right? So Western fenders and stirrups tend to swing around less. So a lot of riders will say, I feel more stable in my Western saddle than my English saddle, and they attribute it to the seat. Big high pommel, big high cantle, rough out seat, big old horn. But in reality, what's making them feel more stable is the Western stirrups and the Western fenders don't move a lot. They're heavy stirrups. They're a thicker web like stirrup leather that attaches through a slit up in the tree, which is a higher up, wider fixture point. And then they have the fender on top of it. So there's usually like 3 or 4 pieces of leather. Sometimes the problem is they don't move. And they give short women like ankle and knee pain, which we can get to later. But the English stirrups, these things just swing around, right? We have a heavy metal iron on a skinny leather loop to this really high fixed point, and they swing maniacally. So to access stability, you can grip with your leg, but then you're narrowing your base of support. And also, are your legs strong enough to hold you on a horse that's freaking out? No. Because if they were, we'd never fall off, right? Obviously, they're not. So we need to access our stirrups for support, and we do this by pushing them out as far as they go laterally and forward, because now you've ceased the swinging action, because you've pushed them to tension terminus, and now you have a solid base of support. So if you think your horse is going to go sideways, push your feet in front of you and out. So can you make your feet real wide? Do you feel that? So if your horse goes, your stirrups are supposed to catch you. But to access our stirrups, we have to either put our feet in front of us or we have to put our feet out. And they were never taught that. So riders are riding around with stirrups that they're not interacting with as a tool, and then they're falling off. Because stirrups keep you from falling off. That's why people like riding in them so much. Right? But we invented those stirrups and we went, wow, this is the way to go. And then we really kept them. Does that help answer your question? It's nice meeting you. Maya, can you hand her 2 cards? And then can I have another English rider up next? All right, madame.
You're going to talk about how the knee bothers you after riding. Is that just Western?
The rotating your toe out. So I have 2 knee pain ladies, 2 ladies with knees, right? When riders are experiencing pain while they're riding, it's always because something's out of alignment. So riding should never hurt. I'm going to say that again. Riding should never hurt. If you're in pain while you're riding, you're out of alignment or you're having a tack issue or sometimes an underpants issue. Like that's an equipment problem that needs to be resolved, right? Now you're allowed to be sore the next day. Like if you haven't ridden for a while and you ride and you're like, you wake up the next day and you're like, oh, my legs are sore, that's one thing. But we seem to all be mostly adults here and we know the difference between pain and soreness, right? So when you're performing the activity, there should be no pain. Pain happens when you've contorted your leg into a position that is outside of skeletal alignment And it always happens when you rotate your femurs in and you pull your legs back and you turn your toes straight. That position pulls you intentionally out of skeletal alignment because you're going, look what a good rider I am. I can put my leg here.
Yeah, usually I take my feet out of the stirrups.
Right.
To let my legs just
Yes.
lay, and it starts hurting.
Yes. And it's dressage is a very inwardly rotated femur, and that is a very high level technique. That's also how you ride bareback. So oftentimes I look at my riders and go, if you're not comfortable walk, trot, cantering your horse bareback, then you're not going to be comfortable walk, trot, cantering your horse true dressage. Because true dressage is a deep seat discipline that's designed to be ridden stirrupless, because you never rise up. But a lot of riders are accessing dressage earlier, and then they're trying to put their body into a dressage position that it's not prepared to go into. Like, I'm too old to probably be a ballerina now. I needed to start that when I was 12. Do you know what I mean? Like, my kid can still put both of her feet behind her legs. She's 14. I'm like, never stop, because once you do, they'll never go back. So if you're having knee pain, hip pain, ankle pain, foot pain, you're probably rotating your femur in, gripping with your thigh and your knee, and then rolling onto the outside edge of your foot.
I actually had more problems in my Western saddle with that.
Off-
Your fenders, how their
Yes.
fenders
So fenders are a big deal, especially for women, because I don't know who makes Western saddles, but they think that everybody is like my height. And I always say that if I get like burnt out and I quit my job, I'm going to start a saddle company for short ladies, and I'm going to call it Short Chick Saddlery, and it's going to be a chicken with no legs. I've even got the logo in my head. So these saddles, this is a Fabtron, and I think you have like High Horse here, which is like the same equivalent, which is a leather upper with a synthetic lower. And I like the synthetic lowers because the synthetic fender turns really well. Sometimes the Western fenders are really, really thick. And the Western,
They're very pretty. They're
Right.
very pretty. They don't bend.
or if your stirrups are short enough that you also have this extra piece. So now you have the whole thing and the fender and this extra piece, and you need the stirrup to turn perpendicular to the horse, but the whole time you're riding, the fender is trying to pull parallel to the horse, and it puts this like rotational action on your legs the whole time, and it'll make your knee hurt a lot. So if you have questions, you can take a picture of like your Western fenders and then email it to me, and then I can help you. But yeah, Western fenders make people's knee hurts all the time. Which leg's your bad leg?
This one.
I'm not going to do that one then. I'll do this one.
I mean, they're both kind of messed up, but that's the worst.
That's the worst. Okay, look straight ahead. Big deep breath in, big deep breath out, relax, 1, 2, 3. So not too much, especially with your upper body, but you ride Western. And most of my Western riders,
I was a hunter kid when I was
Little itty bitty?
So it's been like reprogramming my brain
Yes.
to stop leaning forward, and plus I'm kind of big up top, which doesn't help matters.
this month's podcast, I have a podcast with horses in the morning called Stable Riding with Solange. I'm the 4th Tuesday of every month. This month's podcast is short ladies. Next month's podcast, big boobs.
She fit gross.
Big boobs. Because when you have more mass up higher, your center of mass is up higher, and in effect up above your
It's like
axis of
when you
rotation.
try to get your ribs out of your belly, there's not many places
Right.
for them to go.
And also it affects hand position and shoulder position. So if your boobs are pulling you forward, I always tell my big boob riders, it's like two devils sitting on your shoulder, go lean forward, and you have to be like, no boobs, I'm not leaning forward, right? So women, I'm gonna go on a little science tangent, but I think I have time and I think it's worth saying. When women are told to stand up straight, so I'm standing here like this, and my friend goes, I'm taking your picture, stand up straight. What do all women do? This is not standing up straight.
Your lower back is toward.
This is me sticking out my boobs and my butt like Betty Boop for the male gaze. This is not straight. This is me standing straight, right? But I don't look like I'm standing up straight. So a lot of times I'll have women sit up straight and they'll look at themselves and go, I'm slouching. And I'm like, nope, you're in skeletal alignment. Society has just conditioned you that this is straight. So women stand like this all the time, which is very tiring. So when we don't have to stand up straight, what do? And then we have terrible shoulders. And then we have to buy Taylor Swift's viral posture bra off of Instagram to fix our shoulders. And I'm like, or we could just learn how to be in skeletal alignment. So women struggle with their shoulder position a lot. You know, they're riding like this, their hands too far in front of them, it pulls their shoulders forward. So they're told shoulders back, right? This is bad languaging. Because when you tell women shoulders back, or when you tell a rider to pinch their shoulder blades together in the back, women go from this to this, and this to this, right? And it's not good for them. And then Instagram's like, I will sell you all kinds of stuff. I will sell you braces and whoozy whatsits and thingamahoogers to pull your shoulders back, and that's not the answer. So when I talk to my riders about their torso position, like their upper body, I don't talk about their shoulders at all. I've just like taken it out of my vocabulary. I talk about your ribs. So the muscles that you use to ride a horse are your rib muscles. They're the muscles just below your sports bra. I'm not going to flash the camera. They're right here, these muscles, right? But if you look at a woman and say, where's your core? Does she point to these? No. She points to this bit that she doesn't like because she has to put on breeches. God forbid they're beige or white, right? And we have this like natural fat pad right here that's designed to protect our reproductive organs, you know, what propagate the human species. But again, Instagram's told us we can't have that. So when we think about our core, we think about this. We don't think about these. I think if I was a gym bro taking my pre-workout, working on like my Marvel six-pack, I'd think about these being my core, but women don't think about these being part of their core, right? So women get on a horse and they don't ride particularly well. And wiretap knows, because like your phone knows everything. And then Facebook or Instagram or TikTok goes, do you have a strong enough core to ride a horse? And you're like, I don't have a strong enough core to ride a horse, because you think about this part and then you buy some weird crunches and it doesn't work. So I want you to ignore this part of your body when you're riding. It's either moving or you're not using it. Don't worry about it, it doesn't matter. I want you to think about these muscles, your rib muscles, right? So to sit up straight, you take your rib muscles, if I'm here, right? And I take my ribs and I just lift them up, 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 up. At a certain point, my shoulders fall flat in the back. I don't have to do anything else. Now I'm not pulling my shoulders back. My shoulder blades have fallen flat with gravity and there's no tension there. So when you think about your riding position, I talk about ribs all the time. You're going to lift your ribs up and then you're just going to come back to there and your shoulders are perfectly flat. And you feel how you have no tension here? You don't want tension here because your neck will hurt. And every woman I know needs a neck massage. All of us need a neck massage right now. It's mostly from clamping our teeth shut, not saying all the things we want to say all day, right? But it's also from our boobs and wrenching. So you just lift your ribs up, and then that lets you come back onto your seat bones. Do you feel that? Mm-hmm. And then that opens up your hip angle, which we talked about with Kathy, which lets your pelvis move when you're riding your horse. So if you can bring your ribs up and come back here directly onto your seat bones, and then you can allow yourself to rotate those femurs out a little bit so the back part of your calf is, your thigh is touching the horse. See how your toes are turned out at that 45-degree angle? That's excellent. Now when I give you that stability check again, feel the difference? And it wasn't a huge change. It was ribs, lean back, toes out, feet in front of you. That was it.
It's an old Clark Bradley, but I was a little kid. I listened to him.
Yeah.
It's like, get your ribs out of your belly.
Get your ribs, yes. And other instructors will say, Sally Swift talked about like attaching a hook to your sternum and pulling your rib cage forward. My old saddle seat instructor, Lonnie Laver, used to say, take a big, deep breath and pick your ribs up out of your waistband. And so other instructors say it, but not like with the gravitas that it needs. Like I'm like, everybody, stop riding. Look at me with your eyeballs. You gotta do the rib thing. Like it's a really huge, it fixes your posture. And by the way, that's not your riding posture. That's your all the time posture. That's like how you're supposed to be all the time, right? So now that we've gotten your ribs up, I'm going to have you lean back, and then I'm going to move the equicizer like you're cantering, and you're going to move your hips and tell me how you feel. Ready? Yeah, that's a pretty big canter too. Do you feel it? Keep lifting those ribs up, lean back a little bit more, and then on the count of 3, I'm going to let go. 1, 2, 3. Yes. So keeping those ribs up and leaning back from your waist, do you feel how much your hips can travel in front of you? Right. If you drop your ribs and lean forward, you'll feel that immediately your hips get stuck. Feel that? And then you're cheese grating your vagina on the saddle. Right? I didn't talk about vaginas a lot. I talked about testicles more because I taught a lot of men. But then I started teaching the long distance riders, the 75, 50, 100 mile a day ladies, and then the vagina stories. They will turn your hair white.
That's the new vagina monologue.
Does that all make sense?
Yes, it does.
Do you have any questions?
Just on the bad knee,
Yes.
because the one saddle I have, I can feel it when it starts to revert back and straighten up, and it just takes my knee and torques it.
Right.
And then I have to actually start trotting. I show Western dressage.
Right.
To get my horse to move over his back and stuff, I need to post during the trot.
Yep.
Sitting is making a slowing down, and it's not.
Yes. For my riders that have any sort of leg thing, I recommend stirrups that are offset eye, so stirrups that hang perpendicular to the horse. So you can either twist your fender,
Okay.
you know,
Right.
you can get the stirrup turners or an offset eye stirrup. They make A-Beta
Okay.
makes the coolest stirrups now that are plastic and they're molded and they hang perpendicular to the horse. Easy ride. They're like $50. They're great. So offset eye stirrups, also wider footbed stirrups.
Oh,
So if
okay.
you can get like the trail ones that are like 4x4
Right.
with a little bit of cushion, Love those. That's what I recommend for anybody who's got a leg thing. Because, yeah, you know what I'm talking about, girlfriend. Offset eye, 90 degrees. Are those springers? Or, ugh. Springers are my favorite. Yeah, love them. Make a huge difference. But a wider footbed, too.
Oh, okay.
It'll distribute the weight a little bit easier and give you more grace with where your foot's positioned on the stirrup. Okay, next. Come on down.
I'm very curvy with a hip injury.
Okay, which hip did you hurt? How long ago? Don't mind me while I fix my bra straps.
The initial injury was probably close to 3 years, but it is an ongoing.
Okay. Was it a horse injury?
I was moving my horse. I stepped into a hole and my foot did not go, but the rest of my body did.
Oh.
It turned.
Man.
Yeah.
Does it hurt where you ride?
We just mosey. He's 30. We don't do a whole lot.
Oh, God. I just love
That's why
old
I said I'm-
geldings. My
Very
favorite, like, subgenre of horses is old horses being bad. Like when the 30-year-old horse gets out of his stall and runs away real slow, and you're like, get back here. And he's just like,
wants to, just not when I
and you're like, get back here. And he's like, nah. That's my favorite thing. Old geldings being bad, absolute favorite.
Big old Percheron.
Yes. Love it so much.
So very green. I've only tried it a handful of times.
How wide is your Percheron?
It's like sitting on a coffee table.
And you got short legs.
I do.
Okay, what kind of saddle are you in?
It's a soft saddle.
Okay, I know exactly what you're talking about. All right.
It fits him the most comfortably. So.
Well, and it'll fit you more comfortably because your I said a lot of words today. Give me a second. All right. So, when you have a rider that has a shorter inseam, they tend to do better on smaller, narrower horses, which we do not have.
Nope.
We have the opposite. You're riding like the Goodyear blimp, like a Zeppelin, like a big dude.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
love him,
my
though.
feet fall just at the crest of his barrel. It's a good time.
Right. So we have a petite rider on a very wide horse who has a hip injury, but she's in a saddle that's not too built up, which is good. Because if you're like, well, I'm also in a dressage saddle with giant thigh blocks, I'd be like, but at least that's not what's happening, right?
Right.
So the soft saddle's better than some of the. I was worried. I'm not too worried about that.
That's good.
Your left hip hurts. You walk and trot maybe a smidge.
If he feels like
If he
it.
feels like, well, you know, he's
It'll be
he's
like
30.
3 or 4 paces meaty.
And then he's
And
like,
he's
ugh.
That was too much. But he'll canter in for food.
What do you do for a Klondike bar? We talk about that at my house. I'm
I
like,
hear
what
he does a
high-level
lot of
treat
things.
gets you into this behavior today, right? So I would want to make sure 2 things. One, you don't fall off,
Yeah, I really
because
don't.
is he tall?
No, he's an old style Percheron, so
Okay.
he's like just over 15.
Okay, so he's not particularly tall, but I don't want you to fall off, and I don't want you to hurt your hip, and I don't want you to fall off on your hip.
I'd really rather not.
Right, so that's what we want to make sure. So what I would do is I would make your stirrups a smidge shorter, which seems counterintuitive, but I would go up 1 hole. And the reason I'm going to have you go up 1 hole is just because you're going to be able to displace your foot in front of you and put your heel down a little bit more. Do you know what I mean?
Yep. This feels weird sitting on this. You need an equicizer that is a big.
Well, and I tell people that oftentimes if they bring their own saddle to the lab or to an intensive, that their stirrup will be a hole shorter on an equicizer because they're a little bit narrower than a lot of horses.
Probably like 3 or 4.
But some people are like, I've got an Arab or I'm on a thoroughbred, so that's the width their horse is. But I'm like, what do you have? And they're like, a Percheron or a Halflinger. And I'm like, okay, you're probably going to have to go down a hole. Yes. So at this stirrup length, do you feel how you can get your foot in front of your heel first? Yep. So all that I'm going to talk about is, can we get your lower leg bones on the vertical line of the ground? Yes, we can. Because you can see here in the mirror, it's going knee, leg bone, heel. How you know that you're doing this when you don't have a tall, mean lady and a green stick in a mirror is you look past your knee, you should see your toesies. When I used to take kids fox hunting at like 6 a.m., so we were up at like 2:30, and it was me and 3 kids that weren't mine, a bunch of 12-year-olds, right? Drive all the way out to the middle of nowhere, put them on the horses. I would look at them, I'd stand up in my stirrups as soon as we got it, and I'd turn around and I'd go, do a toe check. And they'd all be like, make sure they could see their toes. Because the last thing I need is a 12-year-old in the mud, crying, wet, and then a loose pony at 6 a.m. when I've been awake since 2:30. Like at minimum, we're not falling off today. So toes out, heels down, good. And what that's going to do is that's going to let your knee drop a little bit. That's going to put the back part of your femur on, and that's going to, how's this feel to this hip? This feels good. And the reason that this isn't causing her pain in her injured hip is we're in skeletal alignment. If I tried to like turn your toe straight and pull your lower leg back,
I
it would
be
hurt.
angry.
Yeah, because you're out of alignment, right? So you're here. Does that foot match?
Pretty close.
Okay, so now you're gonna lift those ribs up like we just talked about. Whoa, you grew like an inch.
They're falling back on.
Where were you hiding all that?
I was just chilling.
So here's the thing too. You're petite framed, so you can't, waste verticality, right? You want to extend. So our ribs are up. Now we're going to lean back a little bit more from our waist until you feel your two seat bones. You feel your seat bones? So at your arm length, your hands are going to always be right about in your lap. Because a lot of riders will over shorten the reins and then that'll pull their shoulders forward. Okay? So chin up, 1, 2, 3. That's pretty good. How'd that feel? Now I'm going to move the saddle like you're cantering. So pretend like you're going in for grain. It feels like this. Look at those hips. Those are really good. Okay, I'm going to let go, and on the count of 3, you're going to keep going. Ready? 1, 2, 3. How's that feel?
A lot easier than trotting.
Oh, it's so much easier than trotting. So much easier than trotting. Yeah, you're going to do great.
Oh, okay.
I would like to see your stirrup length on your horse.
Okay.
Maya will make sure you have a card. Just take a picture at this angle and just email it to me. Because at his width and with your saddle and a different flap, I just want to make sure that your stirrups are the correct
Do you ever
length.
come out to like Asheville County way?
I have gone many, many, many places.
I will email you some stuff.
But I'm 30 minutes that way from here.
Yeah.
So if I can't come to you, you can always bring your saddle to me and we work in the lab. That's always a really great place to start.
This is a lot easier than trotting.
Isn't it so much easier than trotting? Yeah.
I could do this all day.
I know, isn't it incredible? Yeah.
You do need a wide equicizer though.
I'll talk to the man. I know a guy. All right, do I have another? I need another Western rider and I need another English rider. I need 2. Please. A cute kid.
Yeah.
I always want to play the Pokemon noise and be like, a cute kid appeared. Come on up. You ride Western, kiddo?
I ride both.
All right. What do you normally do?
I'm a pleasure rider.
Okay.
Yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 14.
Cute. You can still fall off.
Yep.
Can I go one hole shorter, or do you like that?
You could go one shorter.
All right. Well, thank you.
I don't really care too much.
How's that feel? Do you want to tell me about your horse?
He's a paint.
Okay. How old is he?
18.
Cute. What's his name?
Dudley.
Ah, that's a good name. How's all this feel? Pretty good?
Yeah.
Okay. Look straight ahead. Big deep breath in. Big deep breath out. Relax. 1, 2, 3. A little bit, not too much, right? But that's the Western.
Yeah.
So all I would do is I would have you lift your ribs up a tiny bit and come to here, and then I would have you take these feet and just do that. So just take what you're doing and just do it like a meep, like a teensy weensy bit
Okay.
more. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like a little bit. So now look straight ahead. Ah, yes. Feel the difference?
Yeah.
And that's a lot of stability for not a lot of motion. Like you only had to move it like a smidgety little bit. Do you know how much you weigh?
Like 110 pounds.
Okay, so this adorable kid weighs about 110 pounds. And this is important, and I talk about this all the time. Minimum optimum rider mass is 120 pounds. So if you have a human being who's like around, between like 5 and 5'5", and they weigh less than 120 pounds, they are light mass, which means in the mathematical equation of them riding, they don't have enough like mass to keep their hands down, their butt down, and their feet down at the same time. So who's seen like a little kid riding a pony? Like the little kids riding the little ponies, and those ponies are like paint mixers. And the kids' arms are just monkey arms, just like bananas. They look like monkeys riding pigs at the circus. There's nothing to be done. Those ponies are extremely bouncy. The children weigh, 48 pounds soaking wet. It all evens out when they get heavier. So as you teach children and petite framed women, the first thing you got to ask is how much do you weigh? Because she will get displaced off the horse's back at a lower motion or movement threshold than like a big dude, right? Because I teach them big dudes taller than me, right? So I got a guy, 6'4", 220. He could ride like a soup sandwich for like a long time because it's a lot of dude. And also, do you think that horse is going to bust a move with a giant slab of man strapped to his back? The horse is like, that's fine. So the horse isn't as bad and the dude's really heavy. Whereas the horse is much less encumbered with a cute little kid. So the horse might be like, beep, So sometimes kids who are light mass, you'll have instances where like your feet slide or maybe your butt bounces or your hands come up and you're like, why is this happening? Because you're you know how to ride, you're doing everything that's supposed to be happening, but then it just doesn't equal the thing, and it's because you weigh just a little light.
Okay.
So I would say milkshakes with bacon in them. Bacon milkshakes. Like just if you could gain like, but the good news is kids grow. Like if you just wait it out, they grow. But sometimes they get taller, which means they also have to then subsequently get heavier. Like I'm this height, I weigh 150. My daughter's an inch shorter than me. She weighs 125. So my kid's above 125, but she's 125 and 5'10", and now doesn't count anymore because at 5'10" you have to be 140. So there's like a sliding scale for mass. So there'll just be times where you're like, why is my foot sliding around? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just don't weigh that much yet.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But yeah, you look great.
Thanks.
Do you have any questions? No. All right. Are you her mom? Do we have a mom here? Are you her mom? Do you have any questions? Okay. Just give her like, just give her my one. I had one kid who gained like, she finally cracked 120. And I was like, oh, we had a huge party. I'm like, what'd you do? She's like, I started dipping my chicken fingers in mac and cheese. And I was like, that's how you do it. You look amazing. Just lean back a little bit more and just put your feet a little bit more in front of you.
Okay.
Just like a smidge. Hi.
Hello.
Wow, these Crocs are giving me life. You're not the first cute kid I taught in sparkly Crocs. You're actually the second cute kid I've taught in sparkly Crocs. Do you want to tell me about your riding?
I do like mostly dressage.
Okay.
But I like started like hunt seat riding like as a kid. So
Okay.
I feel like sometimes my position like reverts more to that.
How much do you weigh?
Like 130-ish. I
Okay.
think.
So you're weighed just enough, but probably only just for your height. So, how old are you?
I'm 17.
Oh yeah. You're not going to hit your adult mass weight until about 25. Like 25 to 30, you become like your grown-up weight. When you're under 25, that's really not, which is okay. All right. So, do I have another Western rider who would like to get on the Western saddle? All right. Look straight ahead. Big deep breath in. Big deep breath out. Relax. 1, 2, 3. So, not too much. But what I will tell you is, I would take this and I would just go a little bit more. I would lift these ribs up slightly. Good. And now, when I do this, do you feel how much range of motion you have with your pelvis? Start to now rotate your toes back straight again. And it instantly stops. It instantly stops. So the second you rotate your femurs in, your hips instantly get trapped, right? And this is why dressage saddles have gotten progressively more built up. I'm very old. And when we rode dressage, our saddle had a flat like a saddle seat saddle. Does anyone remember the Steuben Tristan? It was a flat dressage saddle. It looked like this. Now the dressage saddles have like breast implants, They come out to like here. And it's because they're like, turn your toes straight. And you're like, okay, but then you're like, but I bounce, my hips don't move. They're like, that's okay, we'll sell you a saddle for that. And then they just sell you a saddle with a big thing, right? So what I would tell you is if you really like dressage and that's the direction you go in and you really enjoy it, that's a true deep seat discipline. You're going to spend most of your life, if you get good at it, sitting your butt down. So the best thing for you to do is to find a very flat saddle or a bareback pad and ride stirrupless and bareback as much as possible to be able to get your 2 seat bones down and moving with the horse. And don't worry too much about if you have to turn your toes out in the beginning. Because I can show you pictures of dressage riders at the Olympics with their toes turned out. Because those are big trots. And a lot of times people tell me, if you turn your toe out and your foot goes in front of you, it impinges the horse's shoulder motion, right? And I'm like, I think the reason that your horse isn't doing like the thing is because you're on an Appaloosa and not on some like warm blood that was born in Germany that they won't let leave, So I have a picture in my lab printed off of Edward Gall on Totalis, he won the World Equestrian Games in 2010 when it came to Kentucky. And Totalis is like, his leg is straight out. And that dude's toes out at a 45-degree angle and his heels down. His lower leg looks just like this. And I'm like, Totalis' shoulder's doing the thing. And I think it's because Totalis is like an X-Men of horses. I don't think you have to worry about that. So what I would say is spend a lot of time thinking about opening up your hip angle as much as possible, which is also going to subsequently put your 2 seat bones on. You feel that? That's going to give you access to your weight aids, right? When these come here, this tightens up, this comes forward, and now you're off your seat bones. Here, your weight aids will not work. Here, your weight aids will. And that's like, it's like this much. It's not a big difference. And it's not so much of a difference most people won't notice. Like if you're used to sitting like this and then you sit here, no one's going to walk past the arena and go, oh God, what is she doing? Like nobody's even going to notice you're doing it. but your horse will notice and you'll notice. Does that all make sense?
Yeah.
Do you have any other questions for me?
Not that I can think of.
All right, Maya's going to make sure that you get a card, and if you have any specific questions, you can take a picture or video and email it to me, and then I can answer you that way. Sound good?
Thank you.
Are you an English writer too? You want to get on?
Sure.
Okay. What do you do, sir?
I'm a bad knee rainer. I'm a bad knee rainer.
Oh, bad knee raider. Wow. That's just a sentence. Okay. Which both knees? One knee?
Right knee.
Right knee? Was it just like, did you injure it, or is it a mileage problem? I had a student say, I'm not old, I have a lot of mileage. Did you injure it riding, or did you injure it?
It's something else.
Okay.
I tore MCL.
I think at this length, your stirrups are too short.
Okay.
Can I lengthen them a hole?
Yeah.
Yeah? How wide is your horse?
Medium.
You're pretty tall. Do you ride short so that your leg aids will land? Do you know what I mean when you're riding? Do you ride with a shorter stirrup so that when you put your leg aid on, your leg gets there faster? Is that why you're riding shorter?
Maybe.
Maybe. I have a guy who reins right now pretty seriously. I taught him to ride. He took 6 intensives with me in 6 months. This guy was committed. He's taller than me, 6'4". And he started riding with Matt Palmer in Philadelphia. And he had to buy extra long neck spurs because he was missing cues. Like, he was on the circle, needed to put his leg on, but because his foot is so far away from like the 14 two-hand reiners, he was missing cues. So he texted me one day and he's like, is my timing off of my legs because my legs are too long? And I'm like, yes! Dude, you're 4 inches taller than me. He's like, do I need long neck spurs? And I'm like, yes! And now he's got spurs that are like this long, which everyone thinks are really mean, but they're not. It's just so he doesn't have to move his leg as far. Because I ride a lot of really narrow horses. And I got these long legs. And I got to put my leg up like a flamingo. Do you know what I mean? And then they're not good horses. That's why I'm riding them. And I don't want to do that because that seems shady.
My horse is probably about as wide as that.
Right. So this is the knee that hurts.
Yes.
Does that feel better?
A little bit.
Yeah. So what I would do is I would concentrate on rotating your femur out so you're not tracking the horse with the inside of your thigh, you're tracking the horse with the back of your thigh bone. And then rotating that whole leg out so that your leg goes in a line, like straight down into your stirrup, and then push a little bit harder with the big toe part of your foot than the pinky toe part of your foot. Because if you are not paying attention and you're just riding along and your leg kind of goes like this, then you're out of alignment. This is rotated in. This is then pushing out this way. This is broken here. You're on the outside edge of your foot. And now you're going to put tension up this outside part of your leg onto all the little ligaments along your knee, and it's going to hurt. Does that make sense? So you want to really think about rotating that femur out, turning that toe down, and pushing harder with the big toe part of your foot than the pinky toe part of your foot. So you should see your toes past your knees. Can you make that foot match this foot? I'm trusting you here. We're working on the honor system. Do you have it?
I think so.
Okay, lift your ribs up. Oh, you got to buy a house in Slouch Town. So this is much better. See how when you lift your ribs up, see how nice and flat your shoulders went? So you got them cowboy shoulders where you're like, meh. And this is what I don't understand about Western guys. I rode English. You know what we win when we win? A ribbon that costs like 75 cents. These Western guys are at events where they're like, it's a $250,000 person. If we win, I make 80 grand. And I'm like, dude, if I could win 80 grand, my shoulders would be impeccable. I wouldn't be roping and reining with these shoulders for 80 grand. I would be like, I'm riding so well right now, you guys. So lift these ribs up. Yeah, look at that. You grew like 3 inches. See, this is good. Now come back on your seat bones. So what raising these ribs up is going to do
Sit back, really throw all this off.
is it's going to put your weight in your seat bones. Feel those 2 seat bones?
Yes.
Well, that's your weight aids, right? In your deep seat. If you're here, drop that back down. See how now you've rolled forward, now your 2 seat bones I'm touching your butt.
That's okay.
Now you're
Feels good.
I spent last week Thursday in Columbus doing a clinic for the Metropolitan Mounted Police. And I go to the first guy, and I'm like, I'm going to touch your butt. He's like, okay. And he looks at the other guy. He's like, she's touching my butt. And I look at him. I'm like, I'm going to touch both sides of your butt. And he's like, how much do I have to pay? And I'm like, $20. And he's like, that's not too bad. And then later, I looked at the one person. I'm like, it's okay. You can try it. I don't bite. And the guy's like, you don't? I'm like, no, because that's $40. So our ribs are up, and we're leaning back. Yes. See how we've elongated? You're very tall. And you're built to ride because look, you've got a short torso, incredibly long legs, and incredibly long arms. Like you were the physical skeletal body type we want in a rider, and you're ruining it because you're slouching. That's not fair, right? So our ribs are up, we're leaning back. Now bring this part of your body back towards me, and now I'm gonna push. Okay, move your hips for me. Show the ladies how it's done. Good, I'm gonna let go, and you're gonna make this motion happen yourself. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Keep going. Yeah, there we go. Snaps. Feel that? You can really move your pelvis now, right? Which is important because old white guys aren't known for their hips. I mean, there's like jokes about that, right? So you got to kind of like, you got to work on it. But now go back to how you were riding before. Bring these legs back and lean forward. And now try and canter.
Not quite as good.
Not quite as good. Because the human spine won't let you. The human spine won't let your hips go in front of you unless you open up that hip angle. Yeah, you look really cute when you sit up straight. Yeah, look at yourself in the mirror. Doesn't that look good? You gonna start sitting up for me?
Yes, ma'am.
You got pinky promise. Thank you. Any other questions?
No, thank you.
Okay, keep your toe turned out and lift your ribs up and your knee won't hurt. Deal? Okay, what can I do for you, madame?
Oh.
You've also got long legs. I just got a
Don't
crop
have
of long legs.
legs. You keep telling me that.
You do, because, well, here,
I'll
look.
pay you $40.
Look. So here's your shoulder and here's your hip.
Okay.
So this is how much, somewhere approximately where your butt touches your horse is your axis of rotation. So how long your torso is decides like where your center of mass is. This is how much lever arm you have above your
Part
axis
of
of
it's I'm
rotation.
shrinking. I've lost like over an inch, and it, you know when
As
you
long
shrink,
as it's
you
the
lose
top.
it here. It is.
Yeah.
That's
But
how,
now,
you know.
look how much leg you have.
Good. If I
So we
keep
have
shrinking, I
we
will
have
be
all this mass and leverage below our axis of rotation and just a little meep. So
Okay.
really, you might not have long legs in the land of like supermodels, but within your height skeletally, you have more length in your leg than your torso.
And I think, you know, I was listening to what you said about like the sort of critical weight. I think that's part of my problem.
How much do
sometimes.
you weigh?
I'm 130 today. I can get as low as like low 120s and
Yeah.
as high as higher 130s.
I would
depending
not.
on-
I would try not to go below 130.
Yeah.
If I go below 145, I feel light, and also when it's hot out, I get like
My
lightheaded.
scoop it belt with weights on it. You know, like the jockey.
Yeah,
theirs is
totally.
In the saddle. I
Right.
can put it in my pocket.
So, what kind of horse do you ride?
I ride a gypsy vanner, a little short guy, about 13 too.
So, is he a low head carriage, flat moving gypsy vanner, or is he a high head carriage, vertical moving gypsy vanner? Does that make
I
sense?
think more the high head
carriage
carriage. He's a
ver-
bouncy little trotter.
Okay, so-
he's young. He's 4.
Yeah. So, with that more vertical mover,
Yeah.
you might want to make your stirrups shorter. So, bouncy
Okay.
horses, shorter stirrups, smoother horses,
Okay.
longer stirrups.
And I do spend a fair amount of time up. You know, I'm
Right.
just a pleasure riding, trail
Yeah, yeah,
riding, maybe
yeah,
a
yeah.
little dressage. I don't like my horse to get off the ground anymore because I'm very much a fragile.
You're at 145,
Oh, should
and
I
you should
come
be at
back?
130.
Oh.
So, we're going to shorten your stirrups.
Okay. Even more.
Yeah. Let's do one, Maya, because these are like an inch. Last year I did the Tri-State Pony Club event. So I drove and I took 3 equicizers to pony clubs. And there's 40 kids and they're looking at me. And I go, I have a clinic opener that I'm not going to do because nobody cares and you're all going to get to ride a horse. And they're like, oh, thank God. So I put them on from littlest to biggest so we could, like, the stirrups would be easy. So I
Yeah.
started with like a 4-year-old in sparkly Crocs. And then we moved up to like the 18-year-olds and there was like a group of girls at each like equicizer helping everybody get on and adjusting their stirrups because I did 40 kids in 2 hours. I talked really fast. And, you know, I'm just tipping kids forward, fixing them, not tipping them, tipping kids forward. And I'm like thinking to myself, I'm like, which kid's going to realize how to sit correctly? And then like 24 kids in, there was like a 15-year-old and she gets on the equicizer and she shoves her foot in front of me and she just looks at me. And I was waiting to see which one of you monkeys was smart enough to learn. And I'm like, if you want to run for public office when you grow up, I'll vote for you. I'm like, you just let me know. Because she was like, tipping me forward. And then the next one's got her legs back and I tip her. And I'm like, oh, see, she didn't. Okay. So how does this feel? Does this feel a little bit better?
Yeah.
A lot of times light mass riders or petite riders, like women that are very short or women who don't weigh a lot, have an adversarial relationship with their stirrups. They're like, I'd rather
feel
ride
like that.
stirrupless. I feel more comfortable bareback. I hate my stirrups. See what I mean?
I feel more comfortable bareback generally, unless it's at a walk.
But if you feel like you've got a lot of stirrup fiddling,
Yeah.
it's
I'm a
because,
stirrup fiddler.
yeah, we can fix that.
Okay.
All right, so our toes out at a 45-degree angle, our heels down. This is excellent. Are you thinking about pushing harder with the big toe part of your foot than the pinky toe part?
Oh, now I am.
Yes. And then lift these ribs up. Yeah. And now just come back to about there. Do you feel that position with your
Yeah,
seat
that's far
bones?
back, huh?
Now look straight ahead. Feel that? Now, if I put you back to here where you were before, feel the difference? It's very small. And this is why I take these mirrors everywhere. And let me tell you, it's nerve-wracking every time because these mirrors are like, they're a film. They're very expensive. And every time I move, I'm like, don't break the mirrors. So trust me, if I could come without mirrors, I would. But everybody thinks that this is straight, whereas this is straight. And the reason this is straight is now your shoulder's over your hip. So straight's going to feel back.
It feels better.
Because you've been forward for so long, straight feels back, and it should feel like you're leaning back in the dentist chair. Is basically what it should
It's
feel
more
like.
comfortable. I have a lot of like pain between my shoulder blades.
Totally.
And I was practicing in my chair, and it was like,
Oh,
God,
100%.
my pain is better.
Yeah. When you have that pain, like right where your bra strap is, or between your
Yeah.
shoulder blade and your spine, like every woman has like right here or right here,
right. We
it's
all
from
do
this,
this.
and it's from
Yeah.
being too far forward.
Yeah.
So yeah, lifting those ribs up and coming back to here, you're gonna feel amazing. So now I'm
And
gonna
I
move.
have 2 replaced knees, but they're fine. They work.
Do you love your new knees?
I do.
Everybody loves their new knees. I'm going to move this like we're cantering. You're going to bring this part of your body back towards me. Are you ready? Yeah, look at that. Good hips. Okay, on the count of 3, I'm going to let go, and you're going to keep moving. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, look at that. So do you feel how much your hips can move now? Now start leaning forward and see what happens. Start leaning forward. See how you get trapped?
Yeah.
And then you bounce.
Yeah,
And then there's concussion.
Yeah.
Right? And you want to really, it's a lot of riding as you get older is concussion mitigation. You don't want any concussion, you don't want any bouncing. If you're riding for a long time, if you have any previous injuries, if you have like a back thing, and what person over 50 doesn't have a back thing, right? It's all about mitigating that concussion so you're not bouncing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Do you have any other questions for me?
One of these.
Isn't it so great?
Watch a movie.
Well, you can come right. I got them in Hinckley. I got 5. So Maya will make sure you have a card. I would love to see you guys. Hi. What do you ride?
I'm Rainer too.
Okay.
We're married, you can tell. We do everything the same. But I have 2 hips.
New hips? Okay. Do you have any pain, discomfort, or anything from your hips? No? You love them?
Love them.
All right. Look straight ahead. Big deep breath in. Big deep breath out. Relax. 1, 2, 3. So not too much, but that's true for most of my Western riders. And Rainers, especially if you're in a sliding stop, you're used to putting your feet in front of you so you don't fall off like William Shatner.
Yeah, no.
Right. But what I will tell you is your toes are quite straight.
Yeah, I started equestrian, equitation.
Right. So you're going to rotate these femurs out. Yeah. When you rotate those femurs out, what's going to happen is instead of gripping with your thigh and your knee, you're going to track the horse with the back of your femur, and your weight's going to go into your stirrups. That's what it's going to do for you specifically is it's going to let your hip angle move better so that your pelvis can travel better when your horse is trotting and cantering.
Okay, and I have a big horse.
Okay, how big is your big horse?
Spurs? How do I keep the spurs off him if I turn my leg?
Okay, so this rider asked me one of the big 3 questions that I get all the time. I'm asking her to turn her toes out at a 45-degree angle, and she's concerned that she will accidentally spur her horse. So I'm going to demonstrate. If you can't see, you can come peek. But when she turns her toes straight, her heel comes up. So right now her heel is about this far from her horse's ribs. When she turns her toes out and she puts her heel down, she has more heel depth. So now her heel is this far from her horse's ribs. So even though you're turning your toe out, because you're putting your heel down and you're just placing your foot farther in front of you, you're less likely to catch your horse with your spur than in this position. Because when you turn your toe straight, you're bringing your leg back, and it's very easy for this to happen. Whereas if you're all the way here, you have to consciously make the effort to come back and apply leg and take it off again. Now, some people are in a discipline in the show ring where they're not allowed to see their leg being moved, and I always find this is really funny. They're like, do you ride a horse? I'm like, yes, I ride a horse. They're like, bring your horse to this horse show and ride your horse so I can watch you ride it. And I'm like, okay. But then they're like, don't move any part of your body. Ride your horse, but without riding your horse. And I'm like, okay. But reining not like that. You're allowed to move your leg, right? So I like this toe out, heel down, lower leg in front of me position as a horse trainer because my foot is here. And then when I want to put leg on, I bring my foot here to apply leg or spur. So this is where my foot is placed, and this is my leg aid place. And nothing ever touches here unless it's my leg for an aid. So my horse has tactile contrast. My leg is here all the time. There's a girth there, there's a fender there. Sometimes I'm fiddling with my stirrup. I take my feet in my stirrups, I put my feet in. I'm standing up and turning to my friend behind me. So your horse gets a lot of sensation here. So trying to put leg in here, the horse doesn't hear you because it's desensitized from like ambient leg pressure all the time. Whereas if you make the effort to put your leg on here, the horse really hears you. So turning your toe out will give you more heel depth and will actually make the distance between your spur and the horse greater. And if you don't trust me, put spurs on him and fiddle with it. We'll just use you as a test dummy. But keep your ribs up while we do it.
I'll remind you.
Right, yeah. So when you open these femurs up, now you're opening up your hip angle this way. Because you're doing a good job keeping your leg down and you're doing a good job keeping your ribs up, but you're still inwardly rotating your femurs, which is going to cause tension up into here and prevent your hips from traveling with your horse.
Okay.
And in that reining, you need a really good deep seat connection because you're using those weight aids all the time. Right? So ribs up, lean back, open these femurs up at that 45-degree angle, and now I'm going to move the saddle like you're cantering. Good. Lean back a little bit more. Yes. And now give me a big canter behind you and under you. I'm going to let go and you're going to canter. 1, 2, 3. How's that feel? Lean back, lean back, lean back. Big hips, big hips, big hips. Good. Feel you have a huge amount of mobility with your pelvis now. Do you feel that?
Yeah, I'm just not used to it.
Right. So if you start coming forward from your waist or rotating your femurs, then you're going to freeze your hip angle. And now your hips aren't going to travel as much.
All right. So I have to feel like I'm leaning back almost.
Like you're in the dentist chair.
Oh, okay.
Because your brain thinks that this is straight up and down.
It does.
So now when I put you here, it's going to feel like this. Just the whole time. You're going to be like, I'm just doing this the whole time? And I'm like, yeah. When people come to me for intensives, because the people who come from all over the country, I had one lady who came from Japan last year to train with me. There's only two kinds. There's the adventure riders who are like, I'm going to the Mongol Derby. I'm going to go fox hunting in Ireland. I need to learn how to ride for this event. And then the normal people who aren't doing something crazy like that are just like, I want a canter. I want a more stable canter. I want to be less scared of my canter. I've never cantered. I have a fraught canter. I have cantering issues. And I just spent 3 days telling them to lean back. And they're in my arena and they're going around. And I go, I want you to lean back so far. You're like, that can't possibly be how far? Like Monty Python, Ministry of Funny Walks. This lady has to be wrong. This can't be how far. That's how far.
Okay.
Because if by some weird twist of nature you do lean back too far, I just go, that's too far. And then you just step a little bit straighter. But it's back farther than you think. Because you look like you're over the age of 25. And you probably don't want to fall off and hit your face.
No.
So guess how we fix that?
Back.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you'll be able to drive that ringer.
Just right down.
Okay.
It's amazing how well your weight aids land when you get back and your two seat bones go into the saddle. Because just mashing your vagina around is not a weight aid. You got to get on your seat bones.
Okay.
Does that all make sense? Maya's going to make sure you have a card.
Okay, good.
Okay, you want to tell me about your riding? Okay, what kind of horse? Okay, so are you gated?
More or less.
Yeah. I get it. I've had a lot of standard breds in my day. Are you posting or sitting primarily?
Mostly sitting.
Okay.
Freaks out when I post.
He's like, what is going on back there? Are you okay? Do I need to call somebody? Okay, look straight ahead. Big deep breath in, big deep breath out. Relax. 1, 2, 3. Can I fix that for you?
Please.
Okay. So your toes are turned straight. I want you to turn them out. Pink. Yours to turn toe in, yeah. I spent years wearing pantyhose and an underwire bra. That's not, we don't do that no more.
Just this morning, I'm like, toes in, toes in.
Never ever. Nope. Toes out, toes out, toes out.
Okay.
All the time. Yeah.
I got yelled at by an instructor for having my toes out.
Oh, I know. Yeah. I don't want to say she was wrong, but I don't want to say he was wrong. Yeah, no, let's turn our toes out. So you're going to turn your toes out naturally, the way that the 45-degree angle is how your hip opens. So instead of pinching with your thigh and your knee, you're going to track the horse with the back of your femur, and then you're going to take those ribs, you're going to lift those ribs up, And now you're going to lean back until you feel your 2 seat bones.
So
Do you feel your 2 butt bones? What have you been riding on? If not your seat bones. Have you been riding on your vagina?
My tennis shoes on.
Like, is that why you ride? Like, for fun? Like, is this because I'm not going to judge you? No? Okay. So, if it's not for fun, then we're going to stop doing it. Right? So, ribs up, lean back, seat bones, toes out, and open in front of you. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Ah, do we like that better?
I didn't even feel you.
Yeah, that's. Ta-da!
I actually took a fall last year.
Okay, we don't want to do that anymore. You look like you're over the age of 25. Gaited horses have generally high head carriages.
I actually fell in a different horse.
Gaited horses gait better with their heads up, which is why the Western, like the. You know how the guys ride the 5 gaited horses in the show ring and they're like way back here? Yeah, do you know why? Because gaited horses take the first step of every gait with their front foot. So you need to get up off your horse's front end and sit way in the back seat so their head can come up and then they'll gait for you. He'll gait better with you leaning back. Crazy, 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 crazy far. Yeah. There's going to be a place in air that you lean back behind the vertical where you'll be like here, 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 and all of a sudden it'll go click like a key in a lock and he'll just go whoosh. And that's where you have to sit. Every human has to sit on the horse in relation to how that human skeleton fits that horse's skeleton. So she has a gaited horse. And Tennessee Walkers gait better. They're high head carriage horses. So they tend to gait much better with a higher head carriage, right? That's how they're mechanically built, right? So oftentimes, you know, your horse will travel maybe best if you might be way back here. And people go, you're sitting too far back. You can't sit that far back on that horse. But that's the way that your skeleton fits into him, and he travels really well. You have to lift his forehand, blah, 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 right? So people will find this place on their horse that it works. Like their skeleton and your skeleton go click like a key in a lock, and it just goes perfect. And then somebody look at you and go, you're not sitting right. Well, I have 3 answers for them. You can choose which one you want. 1, buy me a new horse that fits me the way you like, and then I'll sit that way. That's one option. 2, don't look with your eyes. You can just avert your gaze. And 3, mouths closed. Isn't that amazing? You can just close it. And also, thumbs don't have to type. That's a new one. You could also just not type that thing. So there's going to be a place where you and your horse feel really good. That's the thing you should do. Not the thing the lady online says, not the thing the book says, not the thing the cranky old cowboy told you to do. The thing that your horse likes, that your body likes, that is easy for him and not painful for you, that's the thing you should do. Wild, right? Who knew?
I actually took 100-seat lessons,
Yes.
so, you know, I was always...
Oh, yeah. Right. Yeah. No, we don't have to do that anymore. Nice. Like this. Like the guys who ride the choppers, just way back here. Right? Just way back here. Try it. Try it out, and then email me and let me know if you like it. Sound good? Mile, make sure you have a card.
Your horse's gait opens up.
Oh, yeah. He's going to get so much better leaning back. I've ridden a lot of gaited horses in my time, and the amount that you have to lean back, I used to do standard breds off the track, and I was like riding from the trunk. You're just like so far back. Oh. Lift your ribs up. Lift your ribs up. Lean way back. Toes out. Yeah, ready? How nice is that? Lean back more. Yeah! Feel that? Wow. Now I'm going to let go, and you're going to make it happen yourself. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Lean back, lean back, lean back. Yes! Now start to lean forward. Yeah, that kind of sucks, doesn't it? That's not fun for anybody. Yeah, just lean back really far. You know that chair seat that they said you could never do because it's the worst thing ever?
And this morning I was looking down, I'm like, oh, I see my toes, that's bad.
Turn your toes out, turn your toes out, turn them out. All the time. Literally, no one's going to come. You're not going to get a ticket. Nobody's going to be like, she's turning her toes out, and then fine you $100. Like, you can totally do it. It's allowed. And you're going to love it. And your horse is going to, because look at these gorgeous legs. Another long leg rider. Use them. Pony Jesus gifted you with beautiful long legs. Don't squander that gift. That was just luck. It was nice meeting you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry, my hands are sweaty.
That's okay. Turn your toes out. I believe in you. Cat!
Hey,
How are you?
Good.
How's that cute new horse?
adorable. It's
Yeah.
massive.
I think you should give me that horse. And you should just get another one.
I have a Frisian Percheron for anyone who doesn't know.
It's a really cute horse.
She's 4 years old.
It's a really cute horse. Okay. What do you want to do?
So I do bareback, trail,
Right.
and then I'm starting dressage.
Okay. So deep seat, like moving your hips. Does she have a big gait? Does she trot like a Frisian or does she trot like a Percheron?
It's smooth.
Okay, so she trots more like
But
a Percheron.
her canter is huge. It's like whoosh, but her trot's smooth.
Okay. So you're going to have to lean really far back
Okay.
for that canter.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're like just way back here. I will never forget you standing on Applejack's back while we were on trail. Do you remember that?
I do it a lot, so.
It's crazy. I was like, that was a time, man. Remember we took Adam and he was like in the, like this in the river?
Adam couldn't tighten his cinch and then fell off.
Yeah, and then broke his arm.
Yeah, and he was supposed to go to Mongolia.
Yeah, and then he came to my house and rode for 10 days with a broken arm in a cast, so he could only neck rein. And he rode my pony Floyd, but he couldn't put Floyd on the correct lead because he could only neck rein. So my horse cantered on the wrong lead for 10 days. And to this day, still won't pick up that lead.
Oh, no.
Yeah, to this day, everyone's like, why doesn't Floyd like his left lead? I'm like, okay, so there's this kid named Adam. He was in my phone as Adam Broken Arm Lady Pants. Because he rode the Derby in women's carrots pull-on tights. Because the year before, he'd gone to Mongolia the year before and dropped out on day 3 of the race for saddle sores that had to be sutured shut.
Oh, wow.
So then he came to me the next year and did 10 days with me and then was able to complete. And part of it was wrong pants, wasn't riding right, and he got wet. So that's why we like submerged him in the river to see like if he could ride. A lot happened.
Sounds like a science experiment.
A lot happened. Okay, lift your ribs up. Ribs, ribs, ribs. Back to about there. Yes. Toes out, heels down. Yes. So this is where you're going to have to be to canter that big mare.
Okay.
Right? Because she's going to go whoa-ba-boom.
Yeah.
Whoa-ba-boom. Right? And you're going to really want that uphill nature of her canter. Because it's going to give her a beautiful canter because that's the time when the uphill Frisian is presenting itself, is in that gait, not in the trot. Right? Because she's got that nice little purse trot. She's got that big, round, like jousting horse canter.
Yeah.
You know, that's very, it's very
huge.
round. Kind of like how the big saddlebreds canter, where they canter up, not forward. I had this funny national show horse. I took him to the park. He was 4. And I'm like, okay, we're going to gallop up this hill. And he went, all right. And then he just picked his feet up really, really high. And we didn't go faster. And everybody's leaving me. And he's like, why are they leaving? And I'm like, honey bunch, you got to put your feet out, not up. So keeping these ribs up, 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 and coming way, 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 way back to here is going to open up this hip angle to let your hips travel the amount you need. Okay, are you ready? I'm going to canter you. Yeah, that's a huge canter. You feel that? I was going to say, is this close to her?
Yeah.
So keep those ribs up. Now lean back for me. Yes, back, back, back. Here, hold these because we want to make sure that your hand position is correct.
Oh, probably not.
Yes, 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 yes. So keep cantering. I'm going to have you hold your hands shoulder width apart so that you can lift your ribs up higher because at your boob circumference and arm length, if you try and put your hands together in front, it's going to round your shoulders. Does that make sense? Okay. So you're going to hold your hands shoulder width apart, lift those ribs up, lean back more.
I want to go forward so bad.
Can't. You can't. Yes, 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 yes. That's how her canter is going to feel.
Yes, it does.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
So pause for 1 second. Okay. Sometimes somebody will be cantering and they'll get a wooble in their stomach like they're doing the worm, like an 80s breakdancer. Yeah. And that's because you're sitting too straight up and down.
Okay.
So your canter should just be from the lower body, like behind, under, behind, under, behind, under. So if you feel like you're getting an undulation with your abdomen like Shakira, then you know you're sitting too straight up and down. Okay. And you need to lean back more, right? So if you're not sure, have somebody take a video of you and then be like, what's my stomach doing? Okay. Because it should just look like this. It shouldn't look like.
So that's some pretty good quality.
Right. You shouldn't look like this. Yeah, I write notes in my calendar for like I'll teach a student, oh like next week we need to blah blah blah, and if it's not my calendar, it doesn't exist. So I had a lady in my phone and she was Monday, 3 p.m. Carla Wooble. And my husband goes, because he can see my calendar, he's like, what's Wooble? And I'm like, I know. I'm like, that's my note. I know what it is. Okay, can you canter again for me? Lean back, lean back, lean back. Yes. Behind you, under. Snap, 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 snap. Two straight up and down, lean back more. Yes, there we go. There we go. Behind you, under, behind you, under, behind you, under, behind you. Yes, that's what you need. Does that make sense?
It does, yeah.
If you have any questions, you can bring it to my house for a lesson.
Yeah.
It's your trailers.
Yeah.
Just bring it over.
Oh yeah, just point her to the trailers.
And then I get to ride. See how that, see how I just, yeah, you both.
I'm trying to get her to go to your house.
I can't believe you've been just ghosting me this whole time.
No, well,
I thought we were tight. That's true. I had to leave the state.
I know.
I want in on this party.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys could do a little thing.
We'll come together.
That'd be a lot of fun. We could get like nachos or something, a little cake. Does that make sense though?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, because you went from
That second time I clicked.
and you went from Applejack, who was, you know, a quarter horse, to this mare who's like whoosh,
Yeah, big difference.
huge difference, but it's just like the old saddlebreds.
Yeah.
So I know exactly what it is.
Okay.
Do I have no more English riders? You can put your saddle on. Maya will help you switch it. Do I have any more Western riders? Anybody, anybody? No more Western riders? Okay. Should I take the Western saddle off?